Sir Francis Bacon once said that knowledge is power. And the Latin phrase is scientia potentia. Maybe I said that right, maybe I didn't. But is it just knowledge that makes power, or what you do with that knowledge? You see, today we're going to be talking about some knowledge that you probably want to know. And it's about functional reserve capacity. Let me ask you a question. About 2 months ago, I hit a huge 5-minute power record of just under 360 watts. For me, that was amazing. Now, according to the traditional power level method of looking at things, that would make my FTP at 300 watts because, 5 minutes, that would be 120% of your FTP that you can hold for that much because that's VO2 max. And so that would put my FTP at 300 watts. Now, the problem is my FTP is closer to 270 watts at the time. I know it's nothing crazy, but where does that extra 30 watts come into play? And that's what functional reserve capacity is. And that's the knowledge that I want to give to you today. So in today's video, we're going to chat about what exactly is functional reserve capacity. Why is it important? How do you calculate yours or find yours? And how on earth can you train it and improve it? My name's Elie. I'm a strength coach for cyclists. Let's dive in. Today I'm drinking from the daughter cup. Daughters fill our lives with love and laughter. I don't know if the daughter is supposed to drink from this or if the parent's supposed to drink from this cup and show the daughter that they're drinking from it. It fills up, it holds coffee, so it gets the job done. Anyways, what is functional reserve capacity, or FRC? It is the amount of energy available to you in kilojoules that can be used for any amount of time in seconds above your FTP, or functional threshold power. It's pretty similar to what we also call your anaerobic capacity, but the difference is your functional reserve capacity actually takes into account the little bit that your aerobic engine contributes to this power. So think of it like a battery, and the battery is available to you for any length of time. You can either use it for an hour and you get this much juice out of it, or you can use it for 3 minutes and you get this much juice out of it. But you'll still deplete it. Once you deplete it, you're gonna have to recharge it. So for example, let's keep things simple. Let's say I have an FTP of 300, and let's say I have a functional reserve capacity of 10,000 joules or 10 kilojoules, and I wanna go for a 1 minute all out. So we can actually work out what my theoretical watts are going to be by doing 10,000, which is the joules, or 10 kilojoules, divided by 60 seconds. So let me pull out my handy dandy calculator. Can't even see this one. Don't worry, I have more than one calculator available here. Let's see, that's better. 10,000 divided by 60 equals 500 over 3. I don't know how to convert this. Don't worry, I'll pull out another one. This one doesn't turn on. 3 calculators and I'm left with 500 over 3. That's the best we can do. 166.6. So that's the amount of watts that we can theoretically put on top of our FTP for 1 minute. So if we add our FTP of 300, I haven't used a calculator in so long, I feel like I don't know how to do this. It would be 466.6. So that's your theoretical 1 minute all out. You can also do that for 5 minutes, for 10 minutes, for 30 minutes. Remember to measure it in seconds. So imagine we want to take that same number and see how long we can hold 10 minutes above our threshold. We take 10,000, remember we're measuring in joules, divided by 60 times 10, 600 equals 16.6. So plus 300, so you can probably do 316 watts. Does that make sense so far? I hope it does. Awesome. So let's chat about how you actually find this number, so you have an idea of what yours is moving forward as we continue this conversation. So there's 2 ways you can do this. Number 1 is you can download a software, for example, WKO5, and feed it the data that you have been doing over the past 90 days, and it will pump out a number for you. Now, it's important that those numbers, the data that you feed it, are accurate representations of you going all out. And just to preface this isn't all my own stuff, my own knowledge. I'm actually getting this from Training and Racing with a Power Meter by Hunter Allen. I think I have the book somewhere here. Where'd it go? Where'd it go? It was here. Well, you know what? It was here. I feel like someone's been stealing my books. So if you have WKO5, which is the software, yes, it costs some money. No, I'm not promoting it, not affiliated in any way, but it's a good way to actually find out this number. It will show you in the top right corner of the screen, just like it's showing mine here. But if you don't have WKO5, we can kind of do a little sketchy method about calculating this. Pulling out the calculator. So essentially we're gonna work backwards from what we have. So let's say you've done an all-out effort recently. You'll have some pretty big numbers, right? We'll grab a few of those numbers, we'll work backwards and we'll take the average of the three. So let's say we did a 650 watt all out. We know our FTP is 270, so 650 minus 270 equals 380. All right, that's kilojoules. Now we multiply that by 60, because 60 seconds, and we have 22,800 joules. Let's say we did a 5-minute power of 360 minus 270 equals 90. Now we multiply 90 by 5 minutes in seconds, which is going to be 300, and that gives us 27,000. And just for the sake of it, let's say we did a 10-minute of 312. 312 minus 270, that gives us 42 times 10 minutes, which is going to be 600 seconds, which is 25,200 joules. Now we'll take the average of those three, 22,800 plus 27,000 plus 25,200 equals 75,000 divided by 3 equals 25,000. So we can kind of estimate that your FRC in joules would be 25,000 joules or 25 kilojoules, which honestly, these are my numbers and we're pretty close because the WKO5 estimates it at 24.1 kilojoules. So pretty close. I mean, we're 900 joules off here, but we'll take it. So why is this actually important? Like, what's this information going to do for you as an athlete? Well, a few things. Number one, it can inform you of what kind of work that your functional reserve capacity is actually contributing to your training. So for example, athletes with a very high FRC or anaerobic capacity actually get skewed numbers for a ramp test. That's because in a traditional 20-minute test, there's a 5-minute effort beforehand. And that 5-minute effort is meant to go all out, gas the FRC, bring it all the way down, get everything you can out of there, so that 20 minutes is reflective of your aerobic capacity. But the ramp test doesn't have that gassed effort, so your number actually might be a little bit skewed. Number two, the second thing that you can do with this piece of information is calculate theoretically how hard you are able to push yourself for certain efforts. So let's say there's a segment on Strava that I want to tackle and become KOM of. And let's say it's a roughly 1-minute segment. If I look at the current KOM, I can calculate what my theoretical watts are that I'm able to hold for that. Based on that, I know theoretically I'm able to hold just under 700 watts for 1 minute. It's not like I'm literally holding 700 watts for a minute, because for the best 1-minute pacing strategy is just to go all out for the first 30 seconds and hang on for dear life for the last 30 seconds. But it's probably better if you do a longer segment, like a 5 or 10-minute segment, and calculate what you could probably hold for that time. This is contingent on the fact that you're probably gonna wanna be fresh before you tackle that segment, because if you did some all outs or some sprints or pushed hard before that, your FRC is going down. And also number three is, depending on the event, it can help you inform what you gotta be training. So for example, if your event is highly anaerobic, maybe you are a sprinter, maybe you're doing a crit race, you'll know you're going to want to train your FRC, your anaerobic capacity, and train how to recover quicker and repeat those hard efforts. Alrighty, so we know what the benefits are. Let's talk a little bit about how you're actually going to train this thing. And let's start with strength training. So it's known that strength training does improve your anaerobic capacity, but it's not just about going in and lifting some weights and you're done. How you do what you do matters, meaning being intentional about the movement patterns, the spinal stability, the bracing, the breathing, the contractions, and just having intention behind everything that you're doing actually matters. And if you want to learn a little bit more about this, check out my video, which I'm linking here, about intentionality. But anyways, let's look at this study here from, I don't know when it's from. It's called Combined Sprint Interval, Plyometric, and Strength Training in Adolescent Soccer Players, and they wanted to measure the effect on speed, strength, power, direction, and anaerobic capacity. They put them through a sprint interval training session combined with plyometrics and strength training. And there was a control group that just did regular training. So they compared those two groups. Guess what? The group that combined strength training and plyometrics with their sprint interval training saw greater results and greater improvements in their anaerobic capacity. Now, back to intentionality for a second. Plyometrics and strength training overall is really complex. It's not just go into the gym, get some squats, some deadlifts, and get out of there. Unless you're a beginner. If you're a beginner, literally anything that you're going to do is going to benefit you because you're building neuron connections and making these anatomical adaptations and seeing great results in the first few months to year of training. So go do anything as long as you don't injure yourself. But the further you get into your training, the more intentional and deep you get into the training, and the more you're going to focus on performance, the more specific your training is going to have to become. And so just going out and repping a few squats, some deadlifts, and calling it a day isn't actually going to benefit you. Why? Because how you do what you do matters, remember? And even when it comes down to plyometric training, I can't just say go do some plyometrics because there's so many different types. If we read Yuri Verkhoshansky's work, they commonly call him the father of plyometrics, even though he says he is not. But if we read Professor Yuri's work, we'll see a few things. Number one, there's a lot of different types of plyometrics. There's impact plyometrics, non-impact plyometrics. Each of those break up into other things like maximal, submaximal, and non-plyometrics. Maximal breaks up into classic, which breaks up into functional plyometrics and non-functional. The submaximal breaks up into supplementary plyometrics, and non-plyometrics breaks up into weight training and jump throws and stuff like that. There's so many different types. So I can't just tell you go and do box jumps. How is that going to benefit you? So unfortunately, I can't prescribe anything for you. Was that unhelpful? Probably, and I'm sorry. But I'm doing this for your own good. Because if you're just going to listen to some random guy on YouTube telling you to go do some box jumps, 3 sets of 12, and go do some push-ups, I might actually be doing you a disservice because that might not be what's best for you. You may see more benefit training in another way. And so I'm sorry if this is unhelpful, but I'm just trying to be honest. If you're ever going to work with a coach, strength trainer, make sure they do a comprehensive movement assessment, injury assessment, see how you move, what movement patterns you are lacking in, certain things, if you have any problems that you need to address, like tight hip flexors, inhibited glutes, back pain, knee pain, all of these things need to be taken into account before someone can just tell you to go do squats and box jumps. As for on the bike training, it is commonly known that what you train is what you adapt to, is what you improve on. And so if you train your anaerobic efforts, you will improve on your anaerobic efforts. The few notes I'm going to give you is give yourself time to recover between your anaerobic interval. So if you're doing that 1 minute all out, don't do another 1 minute all out 30 seconds after, because you're not actually going to recover the FRC. Give yourself time to recover, give yourself time to breathe below your threshold so that your body can replenish its energy stores and then go again. I hope this helps with kind of understanding what FRC is, functional reserve capacity, and hope it got you curious about how to train it. Now remember, before anyone can tell you how to train anything or what you specifically should be doing, they need to go through comprehensive assessment with you. See how you move on the bike, what's great, what's not great, what do you need to work on, where are your strengths, where are your weaknesses, and how to address those things before they tell you what to do. So if you're planning on working with a coach, make sure they do that. And if you are interested in having someone do that for you, I'd love to have a conversation. Follow me on Instagram. I'm giving out free movement assessments for everyone who follows, whether it's in person in the Greater Toronto area or whether online. I'm happy to chat. Hope you enjoyed this video. Please leave a thumbs up, comment if you want to see anything else. We will catch you next time. Peace.